For this Quick Tip Tuesdays, I'm going to show you how to get the most out of your Zhiyun Weebill S. And no, this is not a sponsored video, it's a very small channel. So right out of the box, the Weebill S is an incredible gimbal, but I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can get the most out of it. Before we do that, if you're new to the channel, make sure to click subscribe and hit that notification bell so you get notified when I make more videos like these, because now that we're in lockdown, probably going to be doing a lot more. So number 1 is to adjust your programmable buttons. On the Weebill S, you have the amazing feature of being able to change what the trigger and the function button do. With the Weebill Lab, you had to press and hold the trigger button to get the follow mode, and you had to press and hold the go button to access go mode. If you're in Underslung mode and you need to access go mode or you need to access follow mode, it's very hard to be able to press and hold the button and do that at the same time, and it kind of defeats the purpose of having the underslung mode. You can change them so that they're either a toggle or a press, which is life-saving. Okay, number 2 is create a custom profile for your settings. Now I already made a video and I'll leave it up here, but essentially you can go on the ZY Play app and you can set up and customize different profiles if you use many different combinations and setups on your gimbal. So if you spend time doing that for each setup that you can have the optimum settings for the smoothest footage on your gimbal with whatever setup. Number 3 is use a Manfrotto quick release system. So I love the Manfrotto RC2 quick release plate, but if you had the Weebill Lab, you would have found out that you can't use it with certain setups. There's not enough room inside the gimbal to be able to use it. So I had to switch everything to the Arca Swiss type of plates, which was a bummer because would you rather have this or this? Clearly the latter, because there's less space, less room, and look how satisfying this is. It's definitely made it more efficient when you're working on shoots where you have to jump back and forth between using different setups. I'll put a link in the description to the Manfrotto RC2 plate below so you can check it out. Number 4 is getting used to the Underslung Mode. So the Underslung Mode is a unique feature to the Weebill series of gimbals. I really used this when I first got the gimbal, but in my time in lockdown, I've actually had more time to practice with it. And I've actually realized the potential that it has apart from just shooting feet and skaters and very low down subject. Also be sure to get the quick release systems that Zhiyun has. You have to get 2 sets of these unfortunately, but they are life-changing. Like, you really don't want to be screwing and unscrewing. That is a pain in the bum. So the Underslung Mode not only allows you to bring your horizon lower, but it can easily be used to compose your subjects to make them look more powerful. So it's very common in cinematography to look up at your subject. It gives them more of a dominance look because they look bigger, whereas if you look down at a subject, it makes them look smaller. And taking this cinematography concept, you can actually use the Underslung Mode to your advantage. The top handle way of using this gimbal is very useful because it stops you having to put too much pressure on your back from leaning down, and also find that having it in Underslung Mode gives you more of a range of motion because you can start off really low and then you can bring it up much higher. There's definitely a lot more potential with the Underslung Mode that you might think, so consider using it a little bit more. Tip number 5 is to customize the advanced settings of your gimbal. Now I made a whole separate video where I go through the best settings that you need to get the smoothest footage, but essentially in the advanced settings you can actually change the speed, the smoothness, and the deadband of the gimbal. I encourage you to watch the video because it goes into depth and it shows you how with whatever payload you have, you can get really smooth footage out of your gimbal. But essentially you want to have high smoothness because it slows down the acceleration and deceleration of the gimbal, so you get smoother stops and smoother starts. You want to adjust the speed so that it's manageable, it's not too fast and not too slow, and you want to have a deadband that will allow you to have a little bit of wiggle room before your gimbal starts to actually turn. Get a monitor. So your camera may have a flip screen or it may have a tilt screen, but unlike using a camera handheld, a gimbal is an extension of your arm, and that distance will reduce how much vision you have on your shots. Not only does it make it hard to see your composition, but it makes it hard to see if everything's exposed or in focus. And even if you have peaking lines, it's very hard to see the peaking lines when you're very far away. Now getting a monitor doesn't have to break the bank. I use the Fieldworld MA5 monitor, which cost me around £150, £130, something like that. But you can get monitors really cheaply, and you don't need the craziest things. Like, my monitor doesn't have crazy settings, it only just has stuff that I need, like peaking and false colors and a histogram. I don't need anything else really, but you can definitely get them much cheaper. So it doesn't have to break the bank, but it will definitely increase your production quality tenfold. And if you have the transmission module, you can transmit the image to your phone directly, and that could work as your monitor. So that's it. 5 tips how to get the best out of your Weebill Lab. If you like this video, make sure you leave it a like and subscribe and hit that notification bell to get notified when I make a new video. And if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below and I'll try and answer them when I can.